Damn.
Damn.
Said the beaver as he hit a wall.
Hello, everybody. How you feeling?
A little last week was Chrissy, who are we? What are we doing
Who
here?
are we? We are part of the new You Run Podcast Network, where you can find all sorts of fun and exciting podcasts just like ours. You can check them out in the show notes. Look at that, Scott. We got through it this time.
Scott, look. Look it.
Look at us go. This is Paranormal Misfits Podcast, where the curious roam, the weird feels at home, and horror is just another day in the office. I am one half of this dazzling duo, Chrissy.
I am the second half of this lip-syncing dazzling duo. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even going to say boys and girls. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep it at adult age. Ladies and gentlemen, you know who it is. One and only, calling, you'll never be lonely. Nino Daniel.
That went.
That.
All of a sudden, PMP sponsor email starts blowing up. Hey.
Did I tell you that I got a random fucking partnership offer from eHarmony? I'm married happily and for almost 3 years. Actually, yeah, not this coming Monday, but the Monday after. It's like 2 years and 9 months of marriage.
My.
2 years and 10 months of marriage. Or something, I can't count. Damn it. Okay, Chrissy, the fuck we talking about today?
Well, apparently,
also,
just so everyone knows. Yes, just so everyone knows. Nino and I, we plan like our content separate, and then we're just like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what I'm doing this week. What are you doing this week?
No one knows what we're doing until we film.
And it was ironic because Nino was covering the internet, essentially.
Going live to unalive last week.
And I kind of wanted to cover. My youngest was like, why haven't you talked about it yet? And I'm like, why do you know this? You're on kids' YouTube. That's why. It's Slenderman. Slenderman? Slenderman.
Yeah, things I can't be.
Right? Me too.
I like being a little thick.
I vaguely... I'm not even gonna front on this one, guys. I vaguely know what Slenderman is. I do know about the big old court case that dealt with some not fully developed frontal lobes deciding that it was real and whatnot. And I'll be covering that. So we're gonna be talking about Slenderman. And he is a tall, faceless internet legend who crawled out of the forums and into the real world with horrifying consequences. I should ask this. What do you know about Slenderman before?
I thought it was a video game.
It's not. I thought so too. There were so many different things I thought it was. And then
I know it was a movie, right? It was a movie.
I think there is.
Right, Peter? Is there a Slenderman? I'm IMDbing it right now. I could have sworn. So the only thing that I know is I thought I knew.
I thought I knew too. Like, I thought it was just like
a video game?
No lie. This thing came from a forum.
Slenderman is an 2018 horror movie focusing on the small town of Massachusetts where a group of friends fascinated by the internet lore of Slenderman attempt to prove that he doesn't actually exist until one of them mysteriously goes missing.
What's it streaming on? Because I think I might watch it just for shits and gigs.
I might make this the scary movie summer.
Oh, there you go. I like it. Okay, so essentially, right, he's not... I think it's interesting, especially since we've covered so much about like the internet, and for you it was the going live to unalive. For this one, it's like, how did the Boogeyman come to be? Like, how the Boogeyman transforms from like the folklore and legends that like we were told by word of mouth, and how it evolved into like kids are finding different versions of boogeymen, essentially, through like online forums like Reddit and stuff.
Come on now.
So Slenderman was born in 2009 during a Photoshop contest on the Something Awful forums. So the creator, I'm just going to use his surname. We're not going to give, I don't know how he feels about his actual name being put out there, so I'm just going to use his pseudonym, basically. Yeah. So the creator's username was Victor Surge, right? And he posted 2 black and white photos of kids, edited to include a tall, faceless figure in the background. And just like that, the internet essentially had a new boogeyman brought to life. So it went from a Photoshop contest to it evolving, right? So like users started contributing their own images. They started making stories and writing diary entries, and eventually entire video series expanding on the myth of Slenderman. So the very basic breakdown of Slenderman is he's 8 to 10 feet tall.
Peter.
He's faceless with a blank white head. He wears a black suit. He can stretch or grow tentacle-like limbs. He lurks in forests, playgrounds, and abandoned buildings. And he targets children and causes memory loss, paranoia, and even madness.
What about targeting pedophiles, please?
I mean, be nice.
I'm looking at these pictures and it's like actually insane. Like people are going a little ham with these edits, dude.
Like I remember seeing these pictures, right? Like vaguely seeing these pictures and like scrolling past them, I'm just like, whatever, you know? But like just learning about this was wild. So to me, he feels like a mashup of like your old school urban legends. Because the other part, whenever I kept getting confused on what he looked like, I kept thinking of the Crooked Hat Man from the Conjuring series. You remember he was real tall. He had like the striped suit on.
Yes.
Yeah. So essentially, like if you think of the Crooked Hat Man and Slender Man, like they could be brothers. But so it's like an old school urban legend meets the modern anxiety, because you take people creating a lore of the boogeyman and then they add their own, like what would make them anxious essentially when they were creating these stories to scare people. So it was wild. So the reason why it spread so fast, I think, is because it was on the internet. So people were taking snippets of what they saw and were like, well, let me create my own version, or let me add to the story.
Yeah.
They'd make videos, and then also the memes of Slenderman. So he's like a really like huge collective project. It's an open source horror story.
I'm like still looking at these fucking like images. People are.
And then the other part is because it was on the internet, it was allowed, like the creativity of this all was allowed to like really flourish. And then on top of that, like people started becoming obsessed with the Slender Man.
Yeah. Well, there's a movie.
But as far as like when you're talking about like communities and content examples, like there's something on a YouTube series where they were documenting a fictional haunting of Slender Man called the Marble Hornets. Then you have Tribe 12, Everyman Hybrid, which were other Slender Man inspired websites.
What was the Marble Hornets?
You had Tumblr blogs that were doing the lore and the pictures and even role-playing. And then you have Creepypasta Wiki, where thousands added new layers to his story. So he just took, like, people were taking it to, like, the biggest.
They flew.
They went.
They flew.
Yes. And, like, because there was so much participation in it, it gave him so much, like, every story gave him more power, essentially.
Okay.
So, like, the other part is people started believing it so much that it manifests into a real thought for them, right? Because people are like they were just taking it, like their belief, like they believed, and then also like creating more stories on top of it just gave him more, like,
essentially.
Yeah. And of course, again, like we're talking about 2009, which I don't really think there were any good child blocking. I don't know how to say it. Parental restriction.
No, again, going back to what I talked about last week, you can search for just about anything.
Yeah. Yes. Let me see. I found one and then I think I accidentally exited out of it. But like, so like going on the creepypasta, right? So you have like the first picture that pops up, people, obviously it's Photoshop, but they use like the 90s, and there's 3 kids at like a park and like on a slide. And then in the background, you see this gangly, tall figure.
I have
standing
not heard the word
in, like,
gangling in probably a decade. Thanks for bringing that back, babe.
You're welcome. And like they started to take him and like move him across the world when they were creating his lore, because they were even trying to say that like Scotland, there was a Dutch one, there was a German one.
This is not a trend that I mean, I love the fact that it's creepy kooky,
Right.
But
like, it's just
wait,
wild.
what did you Slender Man in a park?
Yeah, so if you go to the Creepypasta wiki,
there's like a couple of photos.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all. No,
Yeah.
Peter. Okay, there's one I'm looking at. I don't know if you just described this because I also was like 7 pictures popped up. Are you looking at the one
Mm.
where there is a child going up the ladder to get to the top of a slide and they're
Yes.
about
Yes,
okay,
that's the
that's
one
the
where he's
one.
in the background.
Yeah. So how do people miss this?
I don't know. It's just, but the thing is these are Photoshop contest type stuff. Because if you keep scrolling through the photos, you have one where it's a bunch of teens, and if you look, there's like a really tall, just ghostly white head because it's a
Yeah.
black and white photo. And then you go to like
Bruh.
the creepy looking like forest, and they're insinuating he's standing behind somebody that's in the forest with like his tentacles all out.
Oh, and
Like
apparently
shit's
there's like Slender Man stabbings going on in children's parks. What the fuck?
just wait. Just you wait.
Listen,
So
I'm technically halfway there with Slender Man. I'm a man. Am I slender though? I don't
okay,
know.
let's see. Like, it was just, this is just wild to me because they try to say there's historical, like, people took this and grew it. Because if you scroll down through their site, you have like historical references. Bitch, like, what the hell? It was just like, there's one, here it is. Underneath, and it's for the German woodcuts, is where I'm going to take this little snippet. So it says, my child, my Lars, he is gone, taken from his bed. The only thing we found was a scrap of black clothing.
Mm.
It feels like cotton, but it's softer, thicker. Lars came into my bedroom yesterday screaming at the top of his lungs that an angel is outside. I asked him what he was talking about, and he told me some nonsense fairy tale about, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that German word right there, so it's basically the Slender Man. He said he went into the graves by our village and found one of my cows dead, hanging from a tree. I thought nothing of it at first, but now he is gone. We must find Lars, and my family must leave before we are killed. I am sorry, my son. I should have listened. May God forgive me. Well, yeah, people like
What the fuck? I'm literally on the Creepypasta site right now.
like the creation, like people took it and they just kept going.
Egyptian hieroglyphics,
Mm-hmm.
German woodcuts.
Right? So like, have you like I've sat here and I thought about it because I talked about Candyman.
Yeah.
And then what else did we talk about Boogeyman wise? Did we talk about another Boogeyman? I feel like it was just Candyman this past
You also
episode.
just inspired what I want to talk about next week.
Look at that, guys. Content planning at its finest.
No, I had an idea, but I'm switching it.
Nice. I love it. I mean, I don't know. It's wild.
This is like beyond wild. The fact that they are like, this is what gets me tripped up is when I'm looking at these creepy pasta pictures about Egyptian lore and German wood carving lore. Bitch, those things existed before.
Right. But the thing
So
is think
they're
about
like
how
going
much
back into history and like, this is where it
remake.
could have
Yes.
come from.
This is
Are
where we're
you
going to stick this.
just because, like, girl, there's all these like random ass weird figures in history, period. Hello, have you seen photos of me since birth? Jeez. Like, that's insane. This creepypasta site also just looks like a nostalgic nod to like late 90s, early 2000s like websites. But creepypasta has been going on for a while.
Yes. It like, but to think about it though, like look at how easy it was just to type it in and it pull up how many sites.
Hundreds. And
Right.
the photos too. How many photos?
Exactly.
Hundreds.
Yes.
Insane.
Like,
That's
oh my God. I just,
see, this is what we mean by like everything is searchable on the internet in some
it was.
capacity.
Yeah. Yes. And like,
So
I want to get into, oh, here we go. Slender Man creepypasta story. So we're going to do this story and then we're going to go into an ad break and then we're going to talk about the really famous case that happened here. I believe it was in the United States. I was
I
have
like, when
to
you
look
say
up
here, where is here?
Yeah.
Like in my
Okay.
house?
Not in you. Oh God, no.
In my literal home.
Here's the story, and this is on the Creepypasta, guys. So, after waking up with a jolt, a girl laid in bed for a few seconds longer. Reaching over to switch on her bedside lamp, she tried to remember exactly what had stolen her sweet slumber away. When she couldn't, the brunette swung her legs over the side of the bed and heaved herself up. Checking the time on her phone, she snorted. When she saw it was midnight, the witching hour. Knowing that sleep would only evade her, she left her bedroom for the kitchen, a good cup of coffee on her mind. How old is this girl? I was not drinking coffee as a child.
Coffee?
Yeah, that's what it said.
I would not have coffee.
Right? Not at 12 o'clock.
Midnight?
Yeah.
Oh my God, girl, am I buffering today? Am I the Internet Explorer thought process of this podcast today? Literally.
As she passed by her front door, a chill spread like liquid fire down her spine. It's only winter, she told herself, focusing on the coffee plan. Measuring out the scoops, the water, and preparing her cup kept her occupied, but as the dark liquid boiled, she had nothing left to keep her mind from wandering off. The chill returned and she couldn't help but glance to the front door. It stood there innocently enough, just like always. The deadbolt was still in place, and she could see nothing amiss with it. Turning back to her coffee, she did her best to forget about the feeling. With a cup in her hand, she started back towards her bedroom. As she walked by the front door, she decided a quick glance out the peephole would help calm her restless mind.
Dumb bitch.
I would never. I barely look out my peephole when people knock on my door in the broad daylight.
I barely look through my eyes. Like, what the fuck y'all talking about?
Oh my God. Okay. The chill worsened with each step she took towards the door and further away from the safety and warmth of her blankets. She pressed her empty hand against the cold metal door and took a deep breath before leading her eye to the peephole. At first, she could only see an inky blackness and somehow seemed to swirl itself. When she blinked in surprise, the void melted away. She wished it hadn't. In its place, there stood what she could only guess was once a man. The limbs were long and inhumanely awkward, with bulky joints branching off into several arms, not unlike the branches of a tree. The creature was draped in a black suit, somehow making the thing more nightmarish to her. The icing on the proverbial cake, however, was what passed as the hellish thing's face. It was as though her mind blurred the ghastly visage. To spare itself further shock and horror, she shoved herself away from the door with the hand still pressed against it. The scalding mug of the coffee fell, the liquid burning her bare legs. As she fell backwards and tried to crawl away from the door. She knew somehow that her mind hadn't been playing tricks on her. As she crab walked away from the door, she watched as
specific.
Huh?
That's
right?
Specific.
That was really...
That's oddly specific. Like,
she watched as tendrils as black as the void she first saw snake around through the cracks. The girl was trapped in between the instinct to flee and the gut feeling to not turn her back on the door. When the door jolted, the urge to flee overcame her, and she slipped in the burning liquid as she tried to make it back to her room. First off, I don't know any coffee that stays that hot.
Okay. First of all, what coffee stays hot through a crab walk and a fucking murder attempt?
Right?
Don't answer that.
Please don't, guys. She knew deep down that she was trapping herself into a corner, but she had to get away from the door. The girl was halfway down the hallway when she heard the previously locked door creak open.
Nope. Hell no.
She screamed and slipped into a wall. How do you slip into a wall?
So when you're dumb, you know what I mean?
I thought she was still crab walking. I didn't know if she made it up.
Girl,
but...
I was like, Howard... Maybe she slid into a wall because the crab meat of her body cooked through the hot liquid coffee, therefore weakening her muscles.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay, so she screamed and slipped into the wall, cracking her chin on it and stunning her.
Bitch, is she done?
After that, there was only blackness. Nicole? A warm male voice snapped the woman out of her trance. As she turned around, she was met by one of her sister's doctors. She nodded, not sure if she should say anything or even if she could find her voice if she did have something to say. That morning, she had gotten an urgent phone call from the hospital saying that her sister Lindsay was there. Before they even let her see her, the doctor had pulled her off to the side and insisted that they talk to her about what might have happened. Phrases like self-inflicted and assault had been thrown around, and Nicole felt her mind reel. She still hadn't fully understood what they had been saying until she saw Lindsay with her own eye. Her little sister had a bandage wrapped around her head, covering both of her ears as well as her eyes. They said it was to keep her now deadened eyes from drying out and to try and keep infection out of the wounds Lindsay had made to her ears. The doctors had guessed that either she or someone else had jammed a pencil into them to keep her off balance or to deafen her against something. There was a mix of first and second degree burns on her hands, legs, and feet from what was assumed to be the coffee her neighbors found spilled all over the entry to her apartment. As Nicole walked into her sister's hospital room for the first time, she thought she spied the silhouette of a man in the window. That she knew was impossible. Her sister's room was on the 3rd story of the hospital, right? Right? Somebody just made that up.
That's the end of the story?
That's the end of the story.
Someone has a very creepy, kooky, altogether spooky kind of mind.
I prefer the Addams Family, guys. Anyway, so we're going to go on a quick break.
We're going to just take a quick little breaksies. Be sure to click the show notes and support us for free by liking and subscribing and giving us 5-star reviews and following Paranormal Misfits Podcast and official Nino Daniel, but only on social sites and not to our house. Because then one of us might confuse you as a Slender Man.
Accurate. And it won't be at midnight with making coffee.
And both of us fight.
Oh my god.
All right, we're going to take a quick ad break while my camera decides to refocus. Bye.
Chrissy had guests on the TV show. Make sure to catch them over on Spotify, their Patreon.
Bibbidi bobbidi back.
Bitches. Okay.
Whoa, hey, don't call them that. If by bitches you mean the dumb people in the Slenderman story, yeah.
Well, at least the girl got a name in the end, right? Because it just started off with the girl, and the girl was drinking coffee and living in an apartment, which makes her sound like a woman.
Wait, she's living in an apartment.
Yeah.
The way the story was described in the beginning makes it feel like it's a house.
Right? Right?
Okay. Some people don't know how to write.
Okay, guys. So this one, I'm sure a lot of people knew about this. I remember seeing it vaguely. I remember thinking quite a few different thoughts on this case. So we're going to get into the Waukesha stabbing case from 2014. So with this, again, especially when it's the internet and due to the fact that these were minor children and some mental health was not being looked at, and also just like the parental guidelines and being able to search for things and just
like the safety nets were like there are none.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. So these are the facts. Let me know if you know about this case, right? 2 teenage girls, well, not even teenage really. 2 girls lure their friend out into the woods and basically like, we're gonna do this, sacrifice her for the Slenderman.
It sounds like Jennifer's body. Okay, go ahead. Wait, I haven't heard this, but like I'm dying to, except for I'm not actually dying. I'm just excited.
Oh, okay. So here's the facts. 2 12-year-old girls.
Stop right there.
Nope.
What the fuck?
Yep. Anissa and Morgan lure their friend Peyton into the woods. Morgan stabs Peyton 19 times while Anissa encouraged her. They claimed to do it to appease the Slender Man and become his proxies. They believed he lived in a mansion in the Nicollet National Forest.
Did the girl die?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
19, I mean, you know.
See, the issue is I get it confused sometimes because there are other... No, she survived.
Whoa.
Yes. Okay, so where is this at? In Wisconsin. Okay, so here we go. So Morgan and Peyton, also known as Bella, which was a nickname she used at the time of the crime, were childhood best friends. They would later befriend a fellow resident, Anissa, who would become particularly close to Morgan due to them living in the same apartment building and having shared interest in Creepypasta, including the popular fictional supernatural character, the Slender Man. Let's see. Peyton, however, found it to be horrifying. Interrogators were told that Morgan and Anissa's obsession with the Slender Man began as early as December of 2013. As their interests grew, Morgan and Anissa both believed he was real and would hurt them and their families if they did not offer him a sacrifice, and subsequently planned to kill Peyton to appease the Slender Man and prove that he was real. Morgan and Anissa had previously planned to kill Peyton by either murdering her while she was sleeping or by killing her in the bathroom, but it didn't go through with either plan, resulting in them coming up with a hide-and-seek plan. So they all had a sleepover the night before the stabbing. So from what Peyton said about the attack, because she did give, obviously, a testimony, They wanted to go on a walk, and I didn't think much of it. It's just a walk, and it's in Waukesha. If I'm saying that wrong, guys, feel free to tell me.
How is it spelled?
Waukesha. Waukesha?
TikTok on the... No, okay.
Waukesha. We're going to go with Waukesha.
Sorry.
What bad stuff happens here? Anissa told me to lie on the ground and cover myself in sticks and leaves and stuff to hide, in a sense, but it was really just a trick to get me down there. I got up, grabbed a couple of trees for support, and then just walked until I hit a patch of grass where I could lay down. Huh?
Waukesha.
Waukesha. But what? There are letters that are missing it. Okay, you know what? Waukesha. We are both off. Apology, guys. It's Waukesha.
Waukesha.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. So on May 31st of 2014, during the game of hide and seek in a heavily lit wooded Davids Park near Waukesha, Wisconsin, Morgan and Anise later pinned down Peyton and stabbed her 19 times in the arms, legs, and torso with a 5-inch long blade. 2 wounds were to the major organs. 1 stab wound missed a major artery by less than a millimeter, and the other one went through her diaphragm, cutting into her liver and stomach. After the attack, Morgan and Anissa told Peyton to lie down while they went and found help, which they did not. Afterwards, Peyton dragged herself to a nearby road where she was found by a cyclist who called emergency services. The surgeons operated on her for 6 hours to repair the critical trauma to arteries and tissues in her torso and abdomen. The doctor who operated on Peyton that day said that if the knife had gone the width of a human hair further, she wouldn't have lived. She left the hospital 7 days after the attack. She returned to school in September of 2014. Peyton later developed lingering trauma from the attack, as anyone would.
Oh, you mean you're just going to be okay with it? Like afterwards, like nothing's going to happen to you? Like you're going to be A1? Okay, cool.
Right?
Superhero.
And later revealing in 2019 that she sleeps with broken scissors in fear of being attacked again. 5 hours after the attack, Morgan and Anissa were apprehended by the police near a furniture store on I-State 94, approximately about 5 miles away from the attack location. They were still in possession of the knife they used in the stabbing, which was found by the police in the bag that they carried. They said that they were traveling to meet Slenderman at his home called Slender Mansion in the Nicolet National Forest, 200 miles from where they were apprehended.
Now, what have we learned about young people meeting older men in there? Don't do that.
So, the aftermath of it all, both girls, obviously Peyton has trauma.
Oh, what do you mean? Like how?
Both girls were committed to a mental health facilities instead of the juvenile detention centers. Morgan was later diagnosed with schizophrenia, and the story obviously triggered a widespread panic with parents fearing creepypasta content.
So going back to the 2 girls in a mental asylum, they must have really good lawyers, because on a technicality, if this were to go to any type of trial later, I mean, you said they were 12, 13 when this happened?
12.
So the statute of limitations is 15 years or something like that? So ish, I don't know. But if they were to, if Peyton was to go to trial with Anissa and who else? Morgan, this could default into a plea of insanity.
So here's what happened. I see what you want to know. So let's see, which one's that?
And this was what year again, babe?
2014.
Shit, did they go to trial? They could have gone to trial.
Hold on. So Morgan was charged with attempted first-degree homicide, a Class A felony, and Nisa was charged with attempted second-degree homicide, a Class B felony. Due to the nature of the offenses, both girls were waived out of juvenile court to be tried as adults.
Period.
So remember, this happened in 2014.
And they were 12.
In 2017,
mistrial.
Anissa pled guilty to being a party to attempted second-degree homicide. A jury then found her not guilty by mental disease or defect. Morgan accepted the plea offer that stipulated she would not undergo a trial if she pled guilty, and agreed to further evaluation by psychiatrists to determine the appropriate duration of commitment to a forensic psychiatric hospital. She later pled guilty as arranged by a plea offer, but was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect due to the final diagnosis of schizophrenia by court-appointed psychiatrist. Let's see. Which one is that last name again? Anissa was sentenced to 25 to life. An indeterminate sentence required at least 3 years of confinement and involuntary treatment in a state forensic psychiatric institution, followed by communal supervision until the age of 37. Morgan was given the maximum sentence of 40 years to life and an indeterminate sentence requiring at least 3 years of confinement in addition to involuntary treatment in a state forensic psychiatric institution until complete resolution of symptoms or until the age of 53, whichever happens first.
At 53, that's so like weirdly arbitrary.
It is. It is.
That's insane. Okay, so I was on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's my immediate thought is anytime someone's like, oh, well, he was insane, or oh, he was deemed this, and it's like, was he though?
So Anissa was released in 2021.
Anissa was released in 2021?
Yes.
I'm going to look up Anissa Morgan Payton Slenderman. That's what I'm looking up.
In 2020, an appeals court rejected Morgan's petition to be retried as a juvenile. Her attorney argued that she should have been charged with attempted second-degree intentional homicide rather than first-degree, and argued that Morgan gave statements to investigators before being read her Miranda rights. He petitioned the Supreme Court of Wisconsin to review the ruling. In early 2021, the Supreme Court declined to hear the appeal. So
they look crazy.
Right? In 2021, Anissa was released with multiple stipulations, including 24-hour GPS monitoring that required her to request permission before leaving the county. Payton's family was reasonably comfortable with the rules Anissa must follow after her release, which also included no contact with Payton until 20 GPS ankle monitoring, but wished she had served a longer sentence. In 2023, the GPS stipulation was removed.
You're lying. So who's roaming freely now? Anissa?
Anissa's internet use is restricted and monitored. As part of her supervised release, she is not allowed to use any form of social media. She is required to take court-mandated psychiatric medication and is escorted regularly to counseling sessions by a caseworker. She is required to live with her father while under the supervision of the court. Let's see. Morgan had also done another petition to the court for release, which was denied in April of 2024. In January of 2025, the court approved Morgan's appeal for release after experts noted considerable progress in battling mental illness. There you go. Yeah. Okay. So anyways.
What the actually?
It's wild. Like, and that the thing is we're talking
That's
12
recent.
years old.
All of this shit is recent.
Yeah. Like 12-year-olds don't have a full, well, I mean, it doesn't fully develop till you're like 25. So like, I don't know.
That's okay. So glad you went this route because I'm always curious about like the finale. I'm very like, okay, what is happening now?
Mm-hmm.
I hate it when like you get cold cases and they're like, well, not much was known. I'm like, this happened 5 minutes ago. Figure it out.
So there's some cultural fallout to this. So Creepypasta moderators began deleting or disclaiming Slenderman stories. Some creators were apologizing, others were defending the community, arguing fiction shouldn't be censored for the action of a few. If you don't want it to be censored, then there needs to be better guidelines as far as who can access them. HBO released Beware the Slender Man in 2016, highlighting the psychological layers of this case. So if you guys want to check that out. But so like, I kind of have a hard time with this one. It's not like to point blame. It's just to kind of find like, where was the gap? Because that's where I'm at, right? Like I'm one of those like, how do we get here? So, well, I don't blame the community who created Slenderman. That was all based off of when it started off as a contest of a picture and then it just evolved. However, I do blame the lack of parental guidelines and the fact that, see, I don't know if people, I don't say this for everybody and I know it's hard to parent, right? But like I'm really in tune. I'll say it this way. I'm fairly in tune with my kids to know when stuff shifts in them. Like when Isabella went through a bullying thing during junior high, like her demeanor changed and I clocked it and I went the route of how can I adjust this and what can I help her through? Like you're talking about two girls who are obsessed with this. And the parents didn't find it strange to, I don't know, stop, look into it, understand, help guide them out.
Did the girls ever have any, like, I don't want to say indication, but did they ever, is it known if they gave off indicators of this being an interest to them?
Well, I mean, Peyton clocked it and called it weird. The girl they stabbed.
Do you think
Like,
that's why they stabbed her?
Yeah, Peyton. Peyton was the one that they stabbed.
No, but I'm saying, is the reasoning behind the sacrificial choice because Peyton clocked it?
See, I don't know. They didn't say anything on that. Like, obviously, you saw they went the route of, like...
And Peyton's still alive, right? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
They're all still alive.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're in their 20s.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, I don't know.
I see, the thing is, like, I'm so in tune like that with my husband, with my sister, like, if there is like a vibe shift of any kind, I'm like, okay, what is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, I think this also, shit like this is just more proof as to, like, I don't know, like, the way people are calling for a moderation of creepypasta. Go to Reddit. Reddit's fucking weird.
Bro.
Reddit, subreddits, and the deep dives and the things that you can post on Reddit. Do you also remember Tumblr?
Yeah, Tumblr's still out. Tumblr's still alive.
Tumblr's still alive, but they did away with a lot of the things that, you know, people were...
Well, yeah. But look, they actually went and fixed it.
And that's why people stopped using it. Did you notice, like, their usage dropped? Because everyone's like, what do you mean you're getting rid of porn?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean you're getting rid of... And I never understood Tumblr.
Tumblr, to me, was kind of like an Instagram diary. Yeah. Right? Because you can make really long posts on it. And you can add art, and you can add all the things or whatever. Yeah. I don't know.
Tumblr, but somewhere, I don't know. Somewhere in the ether.
So what do you think? What's your whole thought process on the Slender Man?
Well, I think this great tie-in to last week's episode about moderating what the fuck you search online, for starters, but also the impressionism. Like, you from my
Creepypasta.
Well, not even that. Your conversation today and my conversation last week, we were talking about grown men from India going on live committing suicide. May they rest in peace. Anyone who's done it, don't if you're alive and don't do it.
Right.
But then this just goes to show the range and, like, the different things that are available to research or look up. And the whole Slender Man thing, like, I get the photo contest. Sure, that's kind of like a weird lore-y kind of thing. But who the fuck comes up with an idea to sacrifice their 12-year-old friend?
I don't know. So, like, that's the other part, because they started, like, well, you saw they started to either take down stories or, like, disengage from the whole Slender Man thing on Creepypasta. Like, I only found that one story.
Or disclaimer it.
Yeah. So, like you don't know. I don't even know how many stories there could have been. Jesus. That's just the one. So,
that's a prominent one too. I want to watch the movie because like, the description of the movie
sounds
very in tune. Well, it's not so sacrificial. It's more doubt. I think the movie, and it's with Joey King. Hello. So I might scary movie somewhere, that who knows. And it's also a 90-minute movie, so I'm like, oh, this is gonna suck. Sorry. Geez. Stop doing this nasty I'm literally becoming an old fucking geezer.
I was about to say, I feel old because, like, I didn't really know much about Creepypasta.
Creepypasta has been around.
Well, I'm sure it has.
Baby, it's been around.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I guess I don't know. But then again, you and I are of the age of, like, the internet was forming, not necessarily in its prime, the way it is now.
Literally, the internet came out in 98, 99. I'm older than the internet. Those girls were barely an idea in their parents' heads when the internet came out.
So, I don't know. Well, anyways, that was the end.
Creepypasta has been around late 90s, early 2000s. Oh my God. I've been on Creepypasta. I was going to say, I've been on Creepypasta in high school.
I didn't really, I don't know.
So, instead of seeking out Slenderman, click the show notes. Purchase the merch if you're able to. That would help us. If you're a brand or business looking to get advertisement or sponsorship opportunities with Paranormal Misfits Podcast, send me an email. Thanks. Feel free to leave us 5 stars, subscribe, all the good shit. Follow Paranormal Misfits Podcast and official Nino Daniel. Don't do weird shit on the internet. What the fuck? It's common sense.
Everything's on the internet and it's not all real. I don't know why this is
Period. Why are we? What the fuck?
Why are we still here?
Any shout outs before we go?
Shout out to our listeners and to our husbands.
Shout out to our listeners and to our husbands. I'm also going to shout out to Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. Shout out to, churches being open. And if you want to go and pray. Also, I don't know, big shout out to like creative people.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that in a separate event. Like big shout out to creative people. Big shout out to all my entrepreneurs out there. And big shout out to people who are not going to do weird shit on the internet.
I know.
Don't do it, fuckers. I'm at this point. Do I send La Llorona after anyone, or do I just be like Slenderman?
Do you really have to? I mean,
no, because they're dumb. It's dumb. Don't do it.
Don't do it. So I will say, guys, make sure you're paying attention to our social media because we've been releasing. Because this is how I should preface this. Because we're how many episodes in now?
This is 6.
We are releasing fun snacks to go with our episodes on Instagram and Tiki Taki. So make sure you check them out. And Nino and I are formulating some ideas to maybe a Patreon.
Maybe a Patreon for season 3.
Maybe. So be on the lookout. We're doing big things.
If your name is SiriusXM or iHeartRadio,
hit us up.
And you want to talk about syndication, let us know. Scott, we love you. Scott, yes. We're still with you.
Yes.
But hi Spotify, how are ya? Anyways, thank you all so much for tuning into Paranormal Misfits Podcast this week. Thanks for letting us into your ears, your homes, your cars, your hearts, and you in the afterlife. Anyways, okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love you so much. We'll see you next week. Be sure to also send us suggestions. I have a weird lip film when you put on chapstick.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking fuck. Okay, I'm going to go have a vegan cinnamon roll. And Chrissy, what are you going to do today?
I think we're painting and we're going to take Roland somewhere.
Nice. Have fun.
Yep.
Ladies and gents, boys and girls, kids of all ages who are not going to do weird shit on the internet.
Please be 16 or older if you're listening. 15 and older. You know what? 15 and older.
No, 16. 16. Okay. Be able to have a license. If your form of ID is a student ID card from high school, you're too young. Okay?
Okay. Also, one more shout out. Guys, everything on the internet isn't real. Just if your parents aren't going to tell you, I'll tell you.
Wait until they hear about Santa Claus.
Oh, goodness.
I'm just kidding. Okay. I'm going to go fix my lips.
Okay.
Love you all so much. Thanks for tuning in. We know you don't want to leave. But since you have to go, you might as well creep out. Bye.
Bye.